special thanks to Team 17 for sending us a copy of this game to review. So full disclosure, I am a fan of the original Yooka Laylee. Yes, let me know in the comments how wrong I am for liking something that was generally considered mediocre by the majority and bad by the critics, yada yada. The reason I bring this up, however, is that any preconceived notion you had about Yooka Laylee from the first game should be completely tossed out the window when going into the Impossible Lair. The reason being that, at its core, this game is completely different from the first title. If the first game was a throwback to Rare's Banjo-Kazooie, then this new title is a throwback to Rare's Donkey Kong Country series, and it does an amazing job at it. While this game is set after the first one, it kind of just starts, in the middle of the action, just outside the Impossible Lair. It wastes no time throwing players into the heart of things, and manages to toss out a few funny lines as you play through it. It's a good tutorial stage, complete with a boss, but then you just keep going. And this is one of the first cool ideas that the Impossible Lair offers, the Impossible Lair itself. See, the Impossible Lair is simultaneously the first level and the last. You beat the game by beating the Impossible Lair, but that is easier said than done. It is a gauntlet of tough platforming challenges, and Yooka Laylee can only take 2 hits before death. If you fail, you are ejected to the world map, where Queen Phoebe informs you that you can make their lair easier by utilising her battalion for defence. Unfortunately, its members are lost in all of the separate book worlds scattered across Yooka Laylee's map, and so the two set off to go rescue them. But they don't have to. If you want, you can go and tackle the Impossible Lair again, and keep trying it until you win. It'll even keep track of all your attempts and your current percentage progress. So if you are skilled enough at difficult platformers, then you could rush straight to the end boss. Or you take your time to power up by exploring the various levels and gaining more defense. It's really cool to have this option and evokes the feeling of an open world game. And Yooka Laylee embraces that feel. Instead of using a menu, the game has a hub world shown from an isometric angle, where Yooka Laylee can walk around, get quills, find power-ups and solve puzzles. It feels like a completely different game, not one that is as polished as the main platforming levels, but still really well thought out. You can find secrets and you aren't restricted to doing levels in a particular order, outside of a few triggered tutorial worlds that need doing before you can advance. It acts as a good break between the platforming levels, which are about as long as a classic Donkey Kong Country level, and they feel like one as well. So much of this game is a clear homage to those classic SNES titles, with a few new additions seemingly inspired by Retro's take on the franchise. Instead of bananas, you have quills, including quill challenges that are similar to the flying banana challenges from Retro Country Games. By that I mean Retro Studios, not Retro as in SNES Retro. Man, that is confusing though, isn't it? Then, instead of Kong letters, you have Trousers Twit coins, which are required to get past paywalls on the overworld. These are usually hidden away or require passing a difficult platforming challenge to acquire. When Yooka Laylee get hurt, Laylee will go into a panic mode before flying off. Players have a grace period where they can grab her again and get a hit point back, otherwise they have to stick as Yooka until they can summon her with a bat bell, kind of like the Kong barrels from Country. Although, this is where the game feels more like Retros again, because you don't swap between characters. Laylee sits on Yooka's back and offers benefits like an extended airtime or the ability to ground pound. Losing her is the same as losing some of your abilities, which is like how it works on Donkey Kong Country Returns with Diddy Kong. Similarly, you have a roll attack where the roll can be extended indefinitely if you have Laylee still. And once again, I'm convinced that a roll attack like this should be required for any 2D platformer, as it makes the game so much more fun with a great sense of speed and flow. The roll can even be used off ledges and then a quick mid-air jump can be made, just like in Donkey Kong. Oh, and I should also mention that this game actually has good swimming levels. A 2D platformer with swimming controls that feel intuitive and fun? Yeah, I think that says it all really. There are a few new additions to the formula of course, such as the previously mentioned ground pound. Yooka can pick up items with his tongue, such as berries and bombs, and these can be used to strike from a distance. Lastly, you also have Tonics, which can be found and activated in the overworld. This is what you use your quills to buy, and while some are visual only, including a really cool Game Boy themed overlay, others help to make the game easier at the cost of your quill multiplier. Stuff like making Yooka stay on screen longer and easier to get back when hit. And all of this feels really smooth and well made. I didn't have any issues with the controls, and if I had one complaint, it would be that there is a little lag when it comes to stopping from out of a run or roll, but it's not enough to ruin the experience. I did, however, have some frame rate stuttering when playing at 1080p on my TV, not in handheld mode or at 720p though. While on the subject of the presentation, Yooka Laylee feel just as dynamic and energetic as before, and it can be seen in their animations. High-fiving on a level complete and the way Yooka slides when turning after a run are just two examples of neat animation I really liked. And how about the music? Grant Kirkhope and David Wise both returned to deliver another outstanding soundtrack for this franchise, along with new composers Dan Murdoch and Matt Griffin. The overworld and menus have a very Kirkhope feel to them, while the platforming stages have Wise's prints all over them. And it's the latter that really adds to the Donkey Kong Country feel that this game is going for. I honestly think that some of the tracks here are on par with the Tropical Freeze soundtrack, which Wise also composed, and I loved it. So the way Yooka Laylee feels is great, but how about another cool feature of the stages? Well, in the original title, one of the mechanics Playtonic wanted was that you could upgrade stages from outside with pages, and they would increase and change on the inside. A valiant idea that had an okay execution. Well, the Impossible lair takes its own spin on things. One early example of this is Chapter 4, a stage about riding up fountain streams to reach higher places and using timing for accurate platforming challenges. But if you use a freeze fruit on the level before entering the world, it's suddenly an ice level. All the fountains are now frozen and previously inaccessible areas have become open. It's the same level, being approached in a completely different way, and I found it to be brilliant. A cool way to make the stages feel more like tangible places the player interacts with. And there are loads of these, including ones that are also underwater. I feel like I've done a lot of gushing about the positives of this game, but honestly it deserves it. I know what the reputation of Yooka Laylee is like amongst gamers, I've seen other people's reviews of the original, but it really feels like Playtonic took back that criticism and used it to make something different and something better. They took their original ideas and concepts and managed to integrate them seamlessly into the world of 2D platforming, and I think it was a remarkable success. If you are a fan of the Donkey Kong Country series, both new and or old, then you will get a ton of enjoyment out of Yooka Laylee and the Impossible lair. If this title had come first, I feel like the series would be talked about on the same level as Shovel Knight and Shantae. I highly recommend it. Thank you all for watching, and thank you to Team 17 for the chance to review this. I feel like I may have come across a bit like a fanboy at times with all the positivity, but that's because I really do want to get across how much fun I had with this game, and I know how much fun you will all have too. Now, it would be a massive help for us if you could share this video around, give it a like and subscribe for more coverage like this, as well as translations, Smash Brothers videos and editorials. If you want to go that extra mile, then consider becoming a patron like all the wonderful people on screen now. Every little helps us to keep going and helps keep the website alive, and we would greatly appreciate it. And with that, always remember to return to the source.